Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4. It's Friday.
It's Friday. Nice try there.
Yes, it is.
It is. The weekend is here.
And it's a long weekend because we get an extra hour.
That's true. That's true. We fall back this weekend.
There you go. More reason to celebrate. But first, here's what's making news on this Friday. Details are still sketchy on an apparent murder in Dodge County. Amanda Quintana has the latest on what's being said.
President Trump and former President Barack Obama are making a final push for their party's candidates.
And a final push here in Wisconsin by the two candidates running for U.S. Senate. It is one of a handful of states where both Senate candidates are women. Our Rose Schmidt takes a look at this new dynamic.
And we're going to talk to CBS News' John Dickerson, host of Face the Nation, about the upcoming midterm election a little later this hour as well.
But first, let's take a look outside. Kind of a gray day, but not bad. The ducks enjoying it, apparently.
Isn't that a pretty shot with the reflection off the water? It's beautiful.
I guess this is down in Stoughton, so yeah, fall is such a beautiful time. But it is turning wet this weekend. Dave Caulfield is with us in the backyard, and pretty wet the way it looks.
Yeah, it really doesn't look great over the next couple of days. I think tomorrow will start out dry. It looks a little bit like what we saw in that last shot, but the ducks will be loving this weather this weekend, that's for sure. Overall, visible cloud track is looking at those clouds still out there across southern Wisconsin. We have seen some peaks of the sunshine today, but kind of like yesterday, not too much. Doppler track, though, has been quiet. I think this is the last day that we're going to be able to say that for quite some time. Downtown Madison looking at mostly cloudy skies on the Edgewater Skycam. Currently at 45 degrees, a north wind at 6 miles per hour, so a little bit chilly this afternoon and evening, but not terribly bad. The temperatures are in the mid-40s in Madison, at 50 in Boscobel, upper 40s in Janesville, and 44 right now in Juneau. That's about 5 to 10 degrees cooler closer to the Dells and spots to the northwest compared to this time yesterday. And wind speeds are out of the north at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, so that breeze shouldn't be a big problem. Mostly cloudy skies as well on the WISC-TV Skycam. Overlooking Madison, temperatures falling through the 40s into the upper 30s tonight with those clouds hanging around. Now, let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. A live look at the Beltline and Rimrock Road. No major problems showing up there, and actually the Beltline looking rather clear right now. A few brake lights are starting to show up, but not too bad, especially for a Friday afternoon on the Beltline, if I do say so myself. You can see some slowdowns just past Fish Hatchery Road, but other than that, not really looking at any major concerns out there. And your drive times, everything is generally heading out at or near the posted speeds across the major roadways. And that is your first alert traffic update. Coming up in just a few minutes, we will time out the multiple chances for rain and talk about an alert day that we added for Election Day in your first alert forecast.
That's not good. All right, Dave.
Rarely is.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. First at 4, the Dodge County Sheriff's Office is confident they have a homicide suspect in custody.
But deputies still are not releasing the name of the suspect nor the victim, along with a lot of details in this case. Amanda Quintana is in the newsroom with more. Amanda?
Yes, deputies were called to a home in the town of Lebanon on Wednesday night to investigate the death. Today, the sheriff's office is saying they do have a suspect. The person was arrested sometime late on Wednesday night or Thursday morning, but they're in custody on charges unrelated to this death. There are still a lot of unanswered questions here. The sheriff's office won't say where the body was found on the property on Red Wing Road, how long it was there, how the victim is related to that home, if at all, or what the suspect is being held for.
We do have a person of interest who is related to this in custody on unrelated charges. I can't give any information on those unrelated charges because a lot of this is very fluid yet. Really what we're waiting for is that autopsy report to find out exactly what it is that was the cause of death.
Sheriff Schmidt did say that the victim is a male, but would not say if he is an adult or not. He says the community is not in any danger, but we still do not know if this was a random act of violence or if the suspect did in fact know that victim.
No questions indeed. Amanda Quintana live in the newsroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Authorities in New York are still trying to determine how two sisters from Saudi Arabia died. The bodies of 16-year-old Tala and 23-year-old Rotana Faria washed up along the Hudson River. The pair was found bound with duct tape. They moved to the U.S. from Saudi Arabia with their mother in 2015. Investigators say a witness spotted them shortly before their deaths while he was exercising that morning.
Two girls sitting about 30 feet apart. They were sitting with their hands in their heads lowered, and they were making noises loudly that he described as praying.
Their mother told police she received a call from the Saudi government in October telling the family they had to go back to Saudi Arabia because the sisters had applied for immigration asylum in the United States.
President Trump continues to hit the campaign trail for GOP candidates. He's got a busy schedule this week. Mola Lenghi has more from the White House.
President Donald Trump continues his march across the country to campaign for Republicans just days before the 2018 midterm elections.
I hear we're doing very well, but we'll let you know on Tuesday night.
Today, the president is in West Virginia, then Indiana. Mr. Trump has been tweeting out support for various GOP candidates. Immigration continues to be the president's main issue as he points to caravans of thousands of Central Americans making their way toward the U.S.
The biggest risk to the Republicans heading into these midterms is not the president's policy agenda, but is conveying chaos. And the way he's been handling some of the immigration issue reinforces chaos.
The president's promise to sign an executive order to do away with the 14th Amendment's guarantee of birthright citizenship for the children of illegal immigrants born in the U.S. has drawn criticism from his own party.
You cannot change the Constitution by executive order.
You know who's going to determine that? The Supreme Court of the United States.
Former President Barack Obama and former Vice President Joe Biden have also been on the campaign trail to support Democratic candidates.
I believe in a fact-based campaign.
President Obama will make his final push with stops in Miami and Atlanta today, while President Trump will keep stumping over the weekend in 4 states. Then he'll be campaigning in 3 states on Monday. Mola Lenghi, WISC News 3.
And before heading to West Virginia, the president was asked if he would compromise with the Democrats if they win control of the House of Representatives. The president said he would. We are taking a closer look today at the role women are playing in politics.
This comes today as another big name joins a U.S. Senate candidate on the campaign trail just days away, 4 days now from the midterm. Rose Schmidt is here to explain. Rose?
Well, in that race for U.S. Senate, Republican Leah Vukmir is challenging Democrat Tammy Baldwin. That makes Wisconsin one of only 5 states in the entire country with a Senate race featuring only female candidates. And that idea took center stage today as a high-profile senator, Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts, campaigned with Baldwin in Madison. They talked about the record number of women running across the country and emphasized their support for the Affordable Care Act. Meanwhile, Vukmir made stops in Platteville and Dodgeville. She attacked Baldwin for telling people that she wouldn't protect people with pre-existing conditions, while Baldwin told her crowd of more than 300 people that health care is under threat if the Affordable Care Act is repealed.
Every Democrat who's running across this country is saying that we Republicans don't want you to have coverage for pre-existing conditions. It is the biggest lie of this campaign cycle.
I was sad to learn during this campaign that my opponent has vowed that she will be the deciding vote in the other direction if she's elected to the Senate. They're going to try it again. Identical twin girls.
The Marquette Law School poll out this week shows that with 4 days to go, Baldwin is leading Vukmir in the double digits among white female voters and all non-white and Hispanic voters. But Vukmir says she doesn't trust those results. Now, both of these candidates are doing what they can to win over undecided voters ahead of Tuesday's election. Poll numbers out from Marquette this week show that Baldwin leads Vukmir 54 to 43%.
Not many undecideds left.
Yeah, and 10-point spread is pretty.
That's hard to overcome.
Yeah,
all right,
definitely.
Rose. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Actor Alec Baldwin has been arrested for allegedly punching a man in the face during a dispute over a New York City parking spot. Police say the actor was taken into custody just before noon local time in Manhattan's West Village neighborhood. Police say Baldwin claimed that said a family member was holding the spot when a man pulled up and took it. Police say the men were arguing and pushing before Baldwin turned violent. A representative for Baldwin did not immediately respond to a message requesting comment.
Well, as we mentioned, we'll be talking with CBS's Face the Nation, John Dickerson, about the upcoming midterms.
That conversation went live at 4 continues. We'll be right back.
Don't miss your
Welcome back. Bloomberg reports millennial men are lagging in the workforce more than any other demographic group.
There are about 500,000 fewer 25 to 34-year-old men working compared to pre-recession levels in 2007. Analysts say they lost high-paying jobs after globalization and new technology hit manufacturing and mining. Opioid use is also making many men less employable, and more young men say they are in school or training programs.
Interesting. Stocks fell today, snapping a three-day winning streak. The Dow Industrials lost 109 points, ending the week at 25,270. The NASDAQ Composite Index gave up 77, and the S&P 500 was off 17. Well, Tuesday is going to be a big night for the campaigns and for Americans.
CBS News is planning on beginning election coverage Tuesday night at 7 p.m. our time. On the national level, the midterm election will determine control of both the Senate and the House. CBS This Morning and Face the Nation anchor John Dickerson will be on the team, bringing results and analysis.
And a few minutes ago, we asked him what he'll be watching on election night.
Well, the list is long, but I guess just geographically, well, the first thing I'll be looking for is what's happening in Virginia, Pennsylvania. What can we learn from those early results that might tell us how congressional districts and we're focused on the House at first, because how are those congressional districts going to go, on the East Coast, and will that tell us anything about how similar districts will go as we march westward as the night progresses? Obviously, there are key Senate races to watch, but the odds are much greater that the Democrats will retake control of the House than they'll retake control of the Senate. And really, those are the big questions. Who will the president's partners be for the next 2 years? Will it be a unified Republican government as it has been, or will there be a Democratic House or Democratic Senate, which would obviously make a very different political landscape and maybe lead to gridlock or whatever it'll be? It'll be quite a big change in Washington. And also then I want to take a look at the Midwest, including Wisconsin, because after the 2016 presidential race, there was a lot of talk about perhaps some realignment in Midwestern politics. What if it's realigning back in the old direction and moving back towards a more democratic, some more democratic victories? So what will the picture look like at the end of the night in the Midwest?
Wisconsin is one of, I think, only 5 states where we have 2 women running for Senate, which is something else that's interesting in the midterm this time, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a broader. Of course, that's one of the broader themes in the evening, which is that there is a record number of women candidates. So you have women voters playing a key role just across the country, and then women candidates playing a key role. And then the question is, we know certainly on the Democratic side that this is very much in response to President Trump's victory. And that is one of the things that is part of the reason people talk about Democratic momentum, is the feeling among women. I mean, when women feel that their voices have not been heard and that the president is, at least Democratic women feel the president is not on their side, and they are so strongly feeling that they go run for office, that's a real change in politics. So how big will that change be at the end of the night in terms of replacing men with women in Washington? And that's not necessarily at the end of the day a party thing. It's obviously just a change in the shape of America's politics. So that'll be definitely something we'll be watching closely on election night.
And this is a strange midterm election. Usually this is state and local, but this has turned into almost a national election.
Oh, absolutely. It's a national election. Although one of the great things about Tuesday night is what's happening in the state houses. And again, the gubernatorial race in Wisconsin is fascinating for any of us who've watched Scott Walker over the years. And to think that, there was a time when Wisconsin was the Republican state. When you think of Paul Ryan and Scott Walker, these ascendant figures in the Republican Party. Now Paul Ryan is stepping down from being Speaker of the House, and Scott Walker is facing a tough re-election. So that is a part of the story of the evolution in the Republican Party into becoming a party that is completely Donald Trump's party now. So the local elections are always fascinating too, but it is a national election because it's Donald Trump's party and his election. It's often been the case that these midterm elections are a referendum on the president, and Americans have tended through the course of our history, going back to FDR, to tend to vote for the party that is not in power in the White House. So we should not be surprised if Democrats have a good night on Tuesday night. That's the way history has worked. But in this case, you have voters telling pollsters that they are basing their vote on the president more than they ever have in previous polls. So it's always been the president plays a role, but it's even more so this time.
It is going to be a fascinating evening, that's for sure. We'll see you Sunday on Face the Nation. Get some rest if you can, John. We'll see you later.
Thanks for joining us, John. Great to see you.
And CBS coverage election night starts at 7 o'clock.
I wish we had more time to talk to him. It's so interesting, so much to talk about.
He's a fascinating man. Well, still to come at 4, what's for dinner tonight? Hopefully, none of the food found in a new museum in Sweden.
We'll check out the Disgusting Food Museum. What time are you picking me up, Mark? That's when Live at 4 continues.
Take a look at this. For the first time ever, a deep-sea swimming sea cucumber known as a headless chicken monster has been caught on camera in the southern ocean waters off East Antarctica. The unusual creature, which has only been found before in the Gulf of Mexico, was discovered using an underwater camera system developed for commercial longline fishing. As far as we're concerned, the headless chicken monster can stay where it is.
That is so cool.
It is kind of cool.
It's a surprisingly apt name, too, for what it is.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
It is Friday, November 2nd. It's National Jersey Friday. I thought when I first read this that it was about my home state of New Jersey, but no, wear your favorite jersey, whatever players that you like to root for.
Got all excited.
And then
sorry. It's also National Deviled Egg Day, also known as Egg Mimosa. Eggs mimosa. I don't know what they're called. Salad eggs, stuffed eggs, dressed eggs. The first known print reference to the term deviled eggs appeared in 1786. I love these things.
Oh, they're good too. I love them too.
They have even special plates to hold them.
Oh, they're fancy.
Ooh.
And it is also National Broadcast Traffic Professionals Day. So thank you, Dave. You're double dipping.
The key word here is professionals.
Yeah, I try to get to that level on a daily basis. Don't always get
Just
there.
pro-am at this point.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I can compete with the big boys.
You do a great job.
Oh, thank you very much.
Happy Professional Traffic. What is it? Broadcasters Day. Professionals.
There you go.
So what's going on this weekend? It's going to be a soggy one?
Yeah, unfortunately, as we head into tomorrow, those rain showers start to develop, and they do not let go without a fight. Not too much sunshine to come by over the next couple of days. We'll time out those rain chances in your first alert forecast right after this. Good afternoon. I hope you're having a fabulous Friday so far. Those deviled eggs are fabulous, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know. And this is a fabulous sunrise shot from Verona. Thank you, Patricia, for sending this in from this morning. And unfortunately, we don't have a whole ton of sun to talk about over the next couple of days. Did see a little bit in Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam, and to end the day, that sun is out in pretty much full view right now. But as we head into this weekend, really not going to be all that much of sunshine because we have rain showers developing. Those showers still well off to the south and west and just regular west right now on Doppler track. We won't see them come into play for the next 24 hours or so. I think by tomorrow afternoon is when those first semblances of showers will develop. And we've been talking about this for so long, folks, but it bears repeating that we just don't need any more rain. And we just keep getting these heavy rain setups to come across southern Wisconsin. We're already at third place all time for the wettest year on record, and we still have 2 months to go, and that got me into data compiling mode. So far, just under 47 inches of rain for 2018. We know this. The average rain for the rest of the year is supposed to be right around 4 inches. So if we just simply get average precipitation over the next 2 months, we'll end up with just under 51 inches of rain. That would be potentially the second wettest year on record. And we're already at the wettest year in modern times because that record and those two records were set back in the 1880s. So it has been a very long time since we had a year as wet as this in Madison. So rain chances over the next 48 hours, I think we're probably staying dry into tomorrow morning, but right at the end of that Badger game versus Rutgers, we could see a few showers come in. So you may want to have that umbrella on standby for the fourth and fifth quarter. Then this is not good. When you see the rain chances go into the top category, we're going to expect to get wet throughout much of this weekend. Our high temperatures today made into the upper 40s in Madison, 50 in Janesville, also 50 in Boscobel and Prairie du Chien, and 46 in Mineral Point. Temperatures right now are being a little bit bashful, but for those who decided to show up to class today, we're at 45 in Madison, 48 in Janesville, and 47 in Lone Rock. Friday night football for tonight, kickoff temperature right around 40 degrees for any playoff action, and we'll be in the mid-30s, so seasonably cold outside, mostly cloudy by the time we get to the end of those games. Our high temperature trend, we're going to be a little bit close to normal over the next couple of days. In fact, maybe slightly above normal on Sunday and Monday, even with the clouds and rain chances in town. But then look how that bottom drops out as we head into the middle and end of next week. Highs only in the upper 30s. We will get rid of the rain chances at that point, but we get rid of one thing and we welcome in the colder weather. And you know, with a forecast like this, folks, it's tough to get excited about the weather, but I have something that we can all get excited about. An extra hour of sleep. Remember, early Sunday morning to turn those clocks back 1 hour. And as far as your election day forecast, we actually did add an alert day because of the threat of some heavy rain and also some wind. And by the time we get to dinner time, some of us could see that rain mix with some snow showers. So lots to look out for as you head to the polls on Election Day Tuesday. So have that umbrella with you as you head out to vote. I think you'll definitely need that. Tonight, temperature is in the 30s, variably cloudy, not as cold outside. For tomorrow, we're in the upper 40s, mostly cloudy and cool, but those scattered showers do start to develop in the afternoon. I mentioned the Badger game versus Rutgers. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, I don't know if you are. Rutgers is in New Jersey. Does Dave want Rutgers to win? No, not even close. Not even close. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s by the fifth quarter. Hopefully a resounding Badger win under mostly cloudy skies. Future track showing not too much in the way of cloud cover and precipitation over the next 12 to 24 hours. But as we head into the afternoon hours tomorrow, you can see some of those light showers developing. And it's not a good enough shower chance by the end of the Badger game to get me all bothered outside, but you may want to have that umbrella ready to go. The better rain chances, you could see that later on Saturday really starting to develop, and some of those downpours are possible as this system moves through. Precipitation potential, keep in mind, we still have rain chances on Monday and Tuesday for Election Day. So this is just by Sunday afternoon. Some of us could be looking at about an inch more rain falling across southern Wisconsin. Your 7-day forecast, I mentioned that alert day on Tuesday for some gusty winds, that rain, and even some snowflakes mixing in at times late. Then we do get all the nasty weather out of here. However, we do have some cooler weather on the way for Wednesday and really on into next week. So we have all the rain chances and then none of the rain chances, kind of in two halves there. But the chilly weather, temperatures in the upper 30s. I know. I was putting this together with Gary, and he said, do you have anything else to add? And I just said, oof, that's going to be cold.
And I don't need to nitpick, but you can't take umbrellas into Camp Randall.
Oh, well.
Bring your poncho.
Yes, there you go. I'm sorry. My mistake.
Not at Rutgers. Does Valpo have a football team?
Yeah, it's usually pretty terrible. So
go Bucky.
So go Bucky. Yes.
All right, Dave. Thank you. Well, stomachs are churning at a food museum in Sweden where rotting fish, maggot-infested cheese, and dry turtle soup are on the menu.
Enjoy your dinner, everyone. CBS's Tina Kraus has the story from London.
Bon appetit.
At Sweden's newest museum, visitors are invited to taste and smell the exhibits, if they can stand the stench.
Oh, you gotta smell it.
The Disgusting Food Museum features international delicacies, including mouse wine from China and cheese from Sardinia filled with maggots.
The most disgusting and the most smelliest item we have here is the Icelandic shark. It tastes like chewing on a urine-infested mattress.
While some hold their noses, others face their food fears head-on.
I thought it was fun to walk around and read about all the different disgusting foods around the world.
The exhibit is meant to entertain, but also aims to change people's preconceptions about unfamiliar foods, like sheep eyeball juice or fruit bat soup from Asia.
There would be no disgusting food museum without Vegemite. It's loved in Australia, but to the rest of the world, nah, it's disgusting.
I think it's really interesting because things like Vegemite, which we find really normal at home, like we'll eat that every day for breakfast, and next to things like the shark.
The curator admits some people have lost their lunch.
It's okay to vomit because our entry tickets are not really tickets, they're printed on vomit bags.
The museum serves up American tastes too, including Jell-O salad and root beer, proving one person's disgust is another person's dinner. Tina Kraus, WISC News 3.
Is disgusting.
I couldn't even look at it.
Tastes like chicken. No, it tastes like urine-infested mattresses. The Swedish museum features 80 disgusting foods.
Why did we run this? Organizers hope the exhibit encourages people to try more sustainable food products like insects and lab-grown meat.
All right, enjoy your dinner, everyone. I was going to have pizza, but now I get
have some Vegemite. That I'd like
something
to
else
try.
on the menu. When we come back, it's the story of the rock band Queen coming to life on the big screen.
We'll preview the new film Bohemian Rhapsody when Live at 4 continues. Here's a live picture of the UW campus, the Memorial Union Terrace, on a Friday afternoon.
Your boy's not out on the lake. He's out of town.
No, the crew team is on the road this weekend, so not on the lake today. One of the greatest vocalists in rock history is headed to your local movie theater this weekend.
David Daniel has a preview of the new movie Bohemian Rhapsody.
Imagine thousands of people doing this in unison. Huh? Well,
what's the lyric?
Rami Malek stars as legendary singer Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody.
I enjoyed the show. I write songs.
Our lead singer just quit.
But then you'll need someone new.
The biopic follows the rise of the rock band Queen.
We're four misfits who don't belong together. They're playing for other misfits. You're the outcasts right at the back of the room. We're pretty sure they don't belong either. No one will play us on the radio.
We need to get experimental.
Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Do it again. One more.
How many more Galileos do you want?
Roger, there's only room in this band for one hysterical queen.
The film is framed by Queen's iconic set at 1985's Live Aid concert.
You're a legend, Fred.
We're all legends.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
I want to see that.
I do as well.
That music.
Fascinating story, yeah.
And Will Loper
Will Ferrell is coming.
It's Friday. He'll tell us what he thinks about the movie on Monday. All right, from the movies to the stage, Michael Bruno's next.
When we come back, he goes backstage for Dodgeville High School's production of Seussical the Musical. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here's your Friday First Alert traffic update. A live look at the Beltline and Rimrock Road. A little bit slow go in the, the westbound direction, or the eastbound direction. Sorry, I just did the morning show. It's tough to keep these directions straight, but really not looking at anything too bad on the Beltline. Just a couple of brake lights past Park Street, and average speed on the Beltline right around 30 to 45 miles per hour. So it really could be a lot worse for this time of year. John Nolan, Verona Road eastbound, that's 6 minutes with an average speed of around 45 miles per hour. And that's your First Alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. Seussical the Musical is based on the children's stories of Dr. Seuss. It debuted on Broadway in 2000.
And since then, it's spawned 2 national tours and is a favorite production for high schools. Dodgeville High School is no exception. Our Michael Bruno traveled to Dodgeville to go backstage for Seussical the Musical.
Now that is a very unusual hat. I wonder what's under a hat such as that. It could be a creature they call the Gazette, who balances things on his head, 'cause it's flat.
So the storyline about Seussical is this boy named Jojo, and he has a very, very vivid imagination.
Oh, the things you can think when you think about Seuss!
Seussical takes all of the Dr. Seuss stories you could think of and put them together into one show. And if you see, like, Into the Woods, that connects a bunch of fairy tales with the baker. This connects all of those stories with Jojo, this little boy who is a thinker.
And creates all these big things, which the Cat in the Hat is a big thing. And so I cause a lot of chaos throughout the story, and I kind of keep it going. But it's really based around how Jojo comes up with these characters such as Gertrude and Horton, and just about these storylines like the kangaroo stealing the Who's, and everyone just having a good time.
Think of a person too tiny to see.
Think of a bird with a one-feathered tail, going on adventure down a dangerous trail.
Jojo is a very whimsical, happy-go-lucky kid. But you also have to memorize all your lines and remember what comes next without showing it on your face, which I'm struggling with a little.
Think of nobody here, and the feeling of fear, and the darkness of night. Ooh, all alone in your room, as you're facing your doom. Think a glimmer of light.
And how does your character then become involved with him?
So I kind of like to think of Gertrude as a little bit of a side story in Seussical because she's in Horton Hears a Who, the book. And Horton is a major component of the story, and Gertrude just kind of tags along for the ride, I guess. So basically, she's just, like, one of her big songs is Notice Me Horton, and it's just her trying to get him to pay attention to her. So I kind of like to think of her as just trying to get the audience's attention whenever she can.
An unusual story will soon be unfurled of an elephant trying to save a small world.
And who's that next to you?
This is my egg.
Nice.
Not my egg. I didn't push that one out. But there's a bird, and she abandons it, and then Horton kind of takes it out on himself to try to give her a break from sitting on it, and then she never really shows up again. So, by de facto, it's now my egg.
Is the entire school in this production?
It's just everybody. The entire school is on that stage.
Not a big school.
It's amazing. They do a great job. And really, it is. There's like 50-some kids in this production.
And they do a great job.
And they do a really wonderful job. The most fun was watching the director in the back of those. We wanted the camera to go on because he's doing all the choreography and he's making it go on. Dan does a great job with the kids and a full orchestra and really wonderful.
I love Elijah. Just this is my egg.
He's the coolest. He's like the coolest dude in the entire musical.
Did he say, "Come smell my egg"?
No. I don't know. You'll have to go and smell his egg.
Seussical the Musical, Dodgeville High School. It's tonight at 7, tomorrow at 2 and 7. Tickets are $8 for adults, just $3 for students and senior citizens. A fun show.
Do they perform at the high school?
Yeah,
yes.
in high school.
Dodgeville High School.
Next week.
Next week, we're going to Sun Prairie to see
Pajama
the Pajama Game. Yes.
That'll be fun.
Really fun.
All right.
Okay.
You're put on some miles.
I know. We're going everywhere this month.
That's good.
That's really
We
good.
love it. All right, Michael, have a good weekend.
Okay, you
Thanks,
too.
Michael.
We'll be right back with the final check of your forecast. Enjoy the dryness.
Yes, while we can,
Yes.
because there's not going to be too much of it going forward this weekend and into the beginning of next week. Downtown Madison, dry right now on the Edgewater Skycam. A little bit of sunshine trying to break through those clouds. Temps in the mid-40s and north wind at 6 miles per hour. For playoff Friday night football tonight, temperature is falling to near 40 degrees by kickoff. I think we'll be in the mid-30s by the time we get to the end of the game. So seasonably cold, but we're still going to need maybe a blanket or two outside. And temperatures tomorrow, starting off in the 30s, will be in the upper 40s with those rain showers coming into town by tomorrow afternoon and evening.
And Sunday looks really wet.
Yeah, Sunday looks wet. Monday a little bit less so, and Tuesday
alert day.
Yes.
Great. Perfect timing for the election. Go and
Hooray!
vote. Go and vote anyway.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Thank you, Dave. And Monday here on Live at 4, we'll meet our Pet of the Week from the Dane County Humane Society.
And film critic Will Loper will be here. We'll talk to Will about the movie Bohemian Rhapsody that looks at the rise of the rock band Queen. That's coming up Monday on Live at 4.
It's you.
Lola, okay. Lola and Louie have put away their Halloween costumes and they've come up with a new batch of animal stories.
And they have them in this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown. This week on the Lowdown, a catty catwalker.
2 pandas' first experience with snow.
And a baby too cute for words.
But first, a Utah zoo is showing off a new baby zebra. The female baby named Clementine met the public for the first time this week in Salt Lake City. She was 85 pounds at birth, and she's working on her kicks and nursing regularly as her mother Zoe keeps a close eye on her.
Here's something you may have never seen before, a rare baby Goodfellow's tree kangaroo. The guy's begun emerging from his mother's pouch at a sanctuary in Australia. The joey, named Kofi by a public vote, is about 8 months old, but is only now starting to explore the world outside the pouch. The Goodfellow's tree kangaroo, which has adapted to life in the treetops, is an endangered species, so Kofi is a welcomed addition.
Here's what happens when 2 pandas encounter snow for the first time. The pair recently moved from southern China to the northeast and have never seen snow before, but they sure seem to like it. Visitors to the sanctuary couldn't get enough of the 2 fluffy and adorably clumsy panda pals. The snow covered the smells they were used to, so this change arouses their curiosity. But after a while, it was time for a little bamboo break.
And finally, at a fashion show in Turkey, a cat ruled the catwalk, doing its grooming on stage instead of behind it. To the delight of the crowd, the cat simply